This is West African Voice Network.
Hello and welcome to Newswave on West African Voice Network. I am Fatima Ibrahim. We begin the bulletin in Nigeria as the country battles deadly meningitis surge as death toll climbs to 151. Nigeria is facing a severe meningitis outbreak that has claimed at least 151 lives, with health officials warning that the situation is worsening, particularly in northern states where access to medical care remains limited. According to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and the outbreak has spread to 23 out of the country's 36 states, with nearly half of the recorded fatalities, 74 deaths, occurring this year alone. The majority of those affected are children in remote communities. NCDC spokesperson Sani Dati revealed that many of the deaths were linked to the late presentation at health facilities, as patients often arrive only when complications have become life-threatening. Health experts attribute the growing crisis not only to delayed treatment, but also to reduced international support. The recent withdrawal of aid from the United States, the key partner in previous meningitis response campaign, has weakened the country's capacity to respond effectively, especially in underfunded and overstretched healthcare systems. Meningitis outbreaks are common during Nigeria's dry season, particularly in the northern regions. However, local healthcare workers have described this year's outbreak as alarming, noting a rapid spread in isolated and underserved areas. We move to Mali, where citizens protest outside Algerian embassy over downed drone incident. The Algerian embassy in Bamako was flooded with demonstrators today, protesting the destruction of a Malian reconnaissance drone by the Algerian military. The protest, led by civil society organizations, youth groups, and patriotic movements, highlights the growing tensions between the two countries. The diplomatic rift stems from an incident that occurred between March 31st and April 1st, 2025, when a Malian Bilateral drone was shot down near the border. Algeria claims the aircraft breached its airspace by 2 kilometers before being neutralized. Mali, however, insists the drone was a legitimate surveillance mission within its own territory and did not cross into Algerian airspace. We move now to Ghana, where Parliament to review new bill against misinformation. The Ghanaian government is taking decisive steps to combat the growing threat of misinformation and disinformation across the country. Speaking at a press briefing on Tuesday, Minister for Communications Samuel Nate George announced that his ministry is finalizing a legal framework aimed at curbing the spread of false information. The document, once completed, will be submitted to Parliament for review and approval. According to the minister, the proposed legislation will provide clear legal grounds to hold individuals accountable for intentionally spreading misleading or false content. He stressed that no one will be exempt from the consequences once the law is enacted. Minister George also emphasized the importance of collective action in addressing the issue. He called on media organizations, civil society groups, and technology companies to support the government's effort in promoting accurate information and curbing the harmful effects of digital falsehoods. In Sierra Leone, the government and island deepen diplomatic ties, advance bilateral cooperation. President Julius Maada Bio has reaffirmed his government's commitment to strengthening ties with the government of Ireland and its embassy in Sierra Leone, emphasizing mutual benefits for both nations. He made this remarks during a courtesy visit from Mr. Nihale Richmond, Ireland's Minister of State for International Development and the Diaspora, who is on a brief working trip to the country. President Bio acknowledged the long-standing and productive relationship between Sierra Leone and Ireland, with particular emphasis on collaboration in education and women's empowerment. In response, Minister Richmond thanked President Bio for the warm reception, noting that the visit marks a new chapter in bilateral relations. He also formally handed over Sierra Leone's agreement for the establishment of its embassy in Ireland. Both leaders expressed optimism that the growing partnership will yield tangible benefits for their citizens and enhance diplomatic cooperation. cooperation going forward. And to regional matters, 3 Americans jailed over failed coup in DR Congo transferred to U.S. custody. 3 American citizens convicted for their involvement in a failed coup attempt in the Democratic Republic of Congo last year have been repatriated to the United States to serve the remainder of their prison sentences. According to Congolese presidential spokesperson Tina Salama, the trio, Marcel Malanga Malu, Tyler Thompson, and Zaman Polun Benjamin, departed the DRC on Tuesday under an agreement allowing them to continue their sentences in the U.S. custody. They were originally sentenced to death by a military tribunal, but their penalties were recently commuted to life imprisonment. U.S. Department of State spokesperson Tammy Bruce confirmed their transfer, stating that the individuals are now in U.S. custody. The repatriation coincides with ongoing discussions between the U.S. and DR Congo over strategic cooperation in the mineral sector. Last week, a senior advisor to former U.S. President Donald Trump visited Kinshasa and revealed that both nations were negotiating potential multi-billion-dollar investment in the country's vast mineral resources. And that's it on Newswave on West African Voice Network. For more news from across the region and beyond, visit wavn.org. You can also stay connected with us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at WAVN News, and on TikTok and YouTube at West African Voice Network. I am Fatima Ibrahim. Thank you for listening.